clear, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing.
So one of the biggest PlayStation 4 exclusives that's going to launch next year is Final Fantasy VII Remake. But the thing about this game is a lot of people immediately jump at anybody who calls it an exclusive because as of right now it is assumed, or maybe it even has been alluded to many times, that it is going to be a timed exclusive and we will end up seeing it on other platforms. We will end up seeing it on Xbox One. And there hasn't really been any official confirmation of anything up until this point anyway. And so I thought it was maybe worth going over here a little bit of information regarding Final Fantasy VII Remake because the hype for this game is through the roof. People are very, very, very excited for this game. It's kind of insane. And the big question is just that. Is it going to be exclusive to the PS4? And while I don't think we can walk away today saying definitively whether or not the PlayStation 4 is going to be the only console it ends up releasing for, I think we can do a little bit of speculation here. But make no mistake, we are getting some official information out of this. It says yesterday, Xbox Germany caused a bit of a stir when it posted some false information about Final Fantasy VII Remake on its Facebook page. The post, which has long since been removed, incorrectly declared the game would launch on Xbox One on the same day as the PlayStation 4 release, the only version we currently know about. While the highly anticipated remake is marked as a timed exclusive on Sony's console, no official mention has been made of other platforms, and Square Enix has now doubled down on this in a new statement. Responding to VGC's request for comment, a spokesperson provided the website the following. As previously announced, Final Fantasy VII Remake will be released for the PlayStation 4 on March 3rd, 2020. We have no plans for other platforms. So this is pretty interesting because, it seems like a lot of people maybe got their hopes up yesterday with this slip up from Microsoft that, Final Fantasy VII isn't actually a PS4 exclusive. It's not even a timed exclusive. It's going to be releasing the same day, and obviously that was a big mistake. And, it seems like it really could have been Xbox's sneaky way of trying to let their fans know, for anybody who is interested in Final Fantasy VII Remake, that it will be coming to Xbox. You could maybe view it as that way. If that's the case, then man, that was a really sneaky thing to do. Or genuinely just could have been a huge mistake, a massive oversight where, whoever was in charge of this just had no idea that this was a PS4 only game and that it's not coming to Xbox. And so a lot of people, ever since this official spokesperson came out and said that they have no plans for other platforms, a lot of people have been speculating as to whether or not, does this mean it's a timed exclusive? Does this mean we can call it a full PS4 exclusive game at this point? And it's really hard to say because, they didn't, the way it's worded, you could kind of interpret it both ways. I mean, when they say they don't have plans for any other platform, it kind of makes it seem like maybe they could have plans later on. But something I think we need to kind of really pay attention to here that, it makes me think there is a chance that Final Fantasy VII Remake in the end could end up being a full-blown PlayStation 4 exclusive game and actually not make its way to Xbox One at any point in the future. A reason why I think this is because we kind of look at Sony's position and we listen to the things that the executives have been saying, and something that they really put emphasis on was kind of trying to strike more third-party deals. Whether you think it's a good thing or not, it's not really here nor there at this point. That's just the facts. The fact of the matter is that is something that Sony wants to pursue: big relationships with big publishers, significant relationships, and deals like this. Honestly, if Sony could do something to ensure that Final Fantasy VII Remake doesn't make its way to Xbox One, I feel like that's something they would do, whether that's, help fund the game a little bit. And I think that that's honestly the most likely scenario here, where if they really wanted to keep this game exclusive to the PS4 console and make sure it doesn't go anywhere else, I think the only way Square Enix would be okay with that is if Sony offered to help fund the game a little bit and offer them some money, because if they weren't willing to do that, I don't see any other reason why Square Enix would purposely not bring this game to other platforms, because at that point they're just going to be missing out on potential sales and more money in the end. So it's really hard to say at this point which way it's going to go. All I do know is that the hype for this game, again, is through the roof, and people are very, very much excited to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I guess, maybe going forward, if you're somebody who is on Xbox or, is really hyped for this game and doesn't own a PlayStation for whatever reason, I would say to not get your hopes up, if I'm being honest, because I just get this feeling that Final Fantasy VII Remake in the end may not actually come to Xbox. It just doesn't seem like a game. Like it just feels to me like there's no reason at this point why they would make it a timed exclusive. I just do not ever see the point in timed exclusivity. I really don't. And I like to think, and I could be wrong on this, I probably am wrong, I don't think Sony sees the point in timed exclusivity either. This reminds me of the Rise of the Tomb Raider deal, where back in the 2015, I believe it was, when Microsoft had struck a third-party timed exclusive deal with this game, and everybody was really upset because it's like, listen, if you're gonna do something like that, just either go all in or don't do it at all. Obviously, a lot of people would prefer that they just don't do it, but I don't know, in my opinion, it's like if you really want to make a significant impact with a move like that, just make it full exclusive. There's no reason to just lock a game off for a year and just make people wait. I'm not a big fan of third-party exclusives in general, but we have to acknowledge the fact that Final Fantasy VII, that's a game that is synonymous with the PlayStation 1. So I can kind of understand why Sony would look at this game in particular and say, we need to find a way, whether it's a timed exclusive or not, to keep this on our platform and make sure that the PlayStation 4 is where people are buying Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think Sony's kind of smart in that way because they understand that the hype around this game is real. This isn't just a small little thing that only a few people care about. This is huge. It's absolutely huge. And if Sony can find a way to keep it permanently exclusive, that would go a long way, especially considering it's going to be broken up into multiple parts, because at that point people would then assume that the second part is also going to be a permanent exclusive, which means if it ends up being like a PS5 release or something like that, then that means if they're going to upgrade to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're not even going to be looking at Xbox. So there's a lot of different reasons here why I think Sony would want to try and make this a permanent exclusive, but again, this is a third-party thing going on here, so in the end, it's really just up to Square Enix. And I don't know, based off of Square Enix's comments here, seems like, they have no problem just coming out here and letting people know, listen, it's not coming to any other platform. There's no plans for it. So if you're holding out hope, maybe don't. But again, that's just something that could just be PR speak. That's something they maybe have to say. And they can't even remotely allude to the idea that it's coming to any other platform, because at that point, it's going to maybe breach the contract and the deal that Sony currently has with them. So, I don't know. I don't really like situations like this because I just wish that these companies could just make it more clear. I wish they could be more transparent. I think it would just be in everybody's benefit if they could do that. It would really make it a lot easier for Xbox players to maybe come to the conclusion that I need to go out there and buy a PS4 because it's never going to come to my platform and I'm not willing to wait. Although I would argue if you are somebody who is a Final Fantasy VII fan and you're really looking forward to the remake, I don't see any reason why you would sit around and wait a year. And so there's another reason why maybe it is a timed exclusive. Maybe that's exactly Sony and Square Enix's mindset, specifically Sony's, where they just figure, why would we pay all of this extra money to try to secure it as a full exclusive when we know that if we just keep it timed for a year, 90% of people are just going to buy it on PlayStation anyway, and it's just going to kind of have this perception where it's a PS4 exclusive, and nobody's even going to pay attention or care when it finally comes out on Xbox One. Maybe that's the mindset they have. I'm not a big fan of that. I really hope that's not what they're doing. Now, that's not to say that I hope that Xbox players don't ever get to play it, but I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say, where it's like, if you're going to do it, just do it right. But all signs as of right now are pointing to this game being a full PS4 exclusive, and we can speculate all day whether or not it's going to be or it's not. But at the very least, what we do know is that Square Enix, just speaking factually here, has come out and said that they have no plans for any other platform. So all I can say to anybody who's excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake at this point, if you don't own a PlayStation 4 and you plan to play this game, you might want to think about investing in a PlayStation 4. Take it from me, it's totally worth it. You will not regret it. There's a ton of games to play. You're going to love it. And yeah, so that's just where we are right now. That's going to do it for the video, guys. Be sure to let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Remake? And do you think that this was Square Enix's way of letting us know and confirming, because of Xbox's mistake, that it's not coming to Xbox? Or do you think it's still a timed exclusive and they just have to come out here and say this? I will be very interested to see what you guys have to say. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.